So this is Echomerx heat tape dispenser. It works by cutting a roll of adhesive tape into little tiny strips. So you can just take that strips and apply to whatever you want to. Since our introduction to the general public, it has found fame and popularity among artists, makers, and crafters too, especially among the sublimation folks, because it helps them to cut the heat tapes so they can apply that to t-shirts, tumblers, and mugs. It saves them a lot of time. But its capability has gone beyond just cutting the heat tapes. Actually, during the holiday shopping season, people use a heat tape dispenser to cut the Scotch tape to do the gift wrappings. It helps the gift wrapping a lot. In this series, I'm going to showcase all the different type of adhesive tape feasible on this tape dispenser, so you can have a 360 view of what kind of tapes and the capability of this heat tape dispensers. So throughout this series, you're going to hear me saying the word core, and that is referring to these little plastic components that are actually standard with all the Echomerx heat tape dispensers. What these do is to take up the tape rolls. So people call them spindles, spools, or core. For clarification purpose, we are just going to use core. And this is 1-inch core and this is 3-inch core. Both are standard with all the Echomerx heat tape dispenser. So our first stop is the double-sided tape. These are for crafty purpose, and I found that at Daiso. They have a paper backing on the surface. This is the 10mm width, and also this is the 18mm width. And our second stop is a Scotch branded double-sided tape. Okay, so I have just rewound the tape to the water mill, and we are about to give a turn and see how it cuts. And right away, I can see that this is the first few strips, and this lens is about 1.5 inch. And you can just use that, apply it to the surface right away. And I feel there's no tension whatsoever on the knob. So cutting the double-sided 10mm tape, Crafty tape, is fairly easy. So next up is the 18mm Crafty tape with the paper backings. Okay, so rewinding the tape back to the water mill is very, very easy. So let's give it a spin. But you probably have heard there is a clanking sound from this 18mm tape versus the 10mm. That's because the blade of this tape dispenser is cutting deeper into double-sided tapes, and there is a tension going on, so it actually making that sound. The cutting of the tape is quite a success. As you can see, the tape's been cut, and this is 7/1000 of an inch. On the loading of the tape, I can probably load 2 rows of tapes on this 3-inch core. And versus the 10mm, I probably can load about 3 to 4. So this is regular Scotch double-sided tapes measure, so it's 1/2 inch and 400 inch. Because it's used a smaller core, so I'm going to change it to a 1-inch core. Okay, so I've just cut a few strips of tapes, and it feels quite easy. There was no tension on the knobs, and there was no hesitation when I turn the knobs. So everything is cutting pretty smooth, and I don't hear the clunking sound from cutting this type of tapes. So it means the blade is cutting fairly easy into the tape. So because it's 1/2 inch in width, and I'm pretty sure I can put 2 rows of tapes on this core. So we have demonstrated the Scotch double-sided tape and also the Crafty double-sided tapes from 10mm all the way to 18mm, and it's good.